welcome to the farm. Today we're talking about starting a garden. Right now in Minnesota, we're under a shelter-in-place order for the coronavirus. There is no better time to start a garden than right now. Not only do we have to stay home, we also have all of our, the Lord totally melted all of our snow. It's the end of March, and it doesn't always happen this way, but this year it did, so thank you, Lord. And now we have even more of a reason to be healthy. I am thoroughly convinced that the healthier we have our body, the more capable it is to fight off viruses and bacteria like the flu, pneumonia, etc. So getting a garden started is just the beginning of making a healthier life for you and your family. And as we have a healthier life, we are able to serve the Lord even more. One place that you can start gardening is in pots. If you're someone who's maybe intimidated by gardening, or you just don't have the time to be able to do much of it, or maybe you don't have the space to be able to have a larger garden, pots are awesome. You can put a tomato plant or pepper plant in there, herbs, you can even have leafy greens in pots right on your front porch, back deck, whatever, and it's an easy way to get started in gardening. Have you ever thought about gardening in your landscaping? That's always a possibility. There's a lot of really cool cabbages and leafy greens that you can put in your landscaping that are beautiful, but that you can eat. This bush right behind me is a currant bush. I actually have 3 currant bushes in this section. Right here is where I have lemon balm, and I have some mint going up the way in my landscaping. There's a lot of things that you can do in your landscaping. If that works for you, that's one option of how you could garden and make it look pretty and make it look useful. Another way that you can garden is with raised beds. If I lived in the city or the suburbs, that's how I would do it. I would get a kit from Lowe's or online, put my raised beds together, fill it with dirt and compost, and get started that way. I think that's an awesome way to get started with kind of a smaller raised bed. One thing that I've noticed about people in their gardening is people like to do it until it gets overwhelming, and then they quit completely. So my biggest recommendation to you is start small and grow from there. So this year, if you've never gardened, just do 1 or 2 things, and then maybe next year add 1 or 2 more. And then master those before you add more. Weeding is a thing, and it can get overwhelming, but if you will take the time to prepare your garden properly first, and then also not overwhelm yourself with too large of a garden, it'll be really fun and really rewarding. Another way that you can garden is just by digging into the ground. And when we moved here to the farm, this section right here was overrun with weeds, but could still be tilled up. It had terrible soil because it had been a long time since somebody had used it, about 10 years since somebody had used the garden actually for a garden. So we tilled it up and started using compost, which you see in the back there. And then we gradually expanded our garden to reach those pine trees, and it actually goes past those pine trees now. We'll talk about compost and soil composition in another video, but there are a lot of different ways you can start a garden. I just really want to encourage you to start a garden. This year, since we're at home with the shelter in place and we are required to be here and the snow is all melted, there is no better year to start your garden than this year. Remember, start small and grow from there, and don't quit. It is really, really awesome to be able to grow your own food and even preserve it, or there's so many things that you can do. I hope you'll just start, and then we can go together from there. I'll be back with other videos on other days, and we can talk more about gardening and farming then. Have a good one.